Once upon a time, in a small rural village surrounded by rolling hills, there lived a poor goat named Gauri. Gauri was unlike any other goat in the village. She had a gentle soul and a soft, trusting gaze. However, Gauri's life had taken a difficult turn when, one stormy night, she ventured too close to the barnacles that lined the rocky shores near the village. These barnacles, sharp and unforgiving, clung to her delicate skin, burrowing deep into her flesh. At first, Gauri didn't understand the pain she was in. She simply wandered the fields, grazing and trying to make her way through the discomfort. But over time, the barnacles grew, covering large portions of her body. The weight of them, combined with the sharp, relentless sting of each one, became unbearable. Her steps slowed, her energy drained, and the joy she once had in her simple life faded into quiet suffering. News of Gauri's plight reached the local animal rescue team, who had heard of her increasing distress. The community, deeply compassionate but unsure of how to help, rallied behind Gauri. They knew that if the barnacles weren't removed soon, they would cause permanent harm to her delicate skin, and, perhaps, even her life. The rescue team, led by an experienced veterinarian, Dr. Arif, set out to help the poor goat. They arrived at Gauri's home with their equipment in tow, their hearts heavy but hopeful. They knew the process wouldn't be easy, but they were determined to make it a success. As they approached Gauri, the sight of her in pain tugged at their hearts. She stood by the barn, her once beautiful fur matted with barnacles, each one clinging desperately to her as though they had become part of her very skin. Gauri's big brown eyes watched them warily, but there was a flicker of trust in her gaze, a sign that she sensed they were there to help. "Don't worry, Gauri. We're here to help you." Dr. Arif spoke softly as he knelt beside her, his team carefully setting up their equipment. The first step was to gently restrain Gauri. With the help of a calm handler, the goat was placed on a soft blanket, where the team could begin the delicate task of removing the barnacles one by one. The team members worked quietly, skillfully using special tools to lift the barnacles from her skin. The barnacles had burrowed deep, and each removal was met with a soft wince from Gauri. But she endured. The team reassured her with kind words, offering her soft strokes as they worked. Hours passed as they removed the barnacles with precision, cleaning Gauri's wounds and tending to her fragile skin. After what seemed like an eternity, the last of the barnacles was finally removed. Gauri's skin was tender, red and raw, but there was no sign of the discomfort she had felt before. The team immediately began treating her with healing ointments to ease her pain and prevent any infection from setting in. After the barnacle removal, the team carefully transferred Gauri to a small recovery pen filled with fresh straw and soft bedding. The sun had begun to set, casting a warm glow over the land as Gauri lay down to rest. Her breathing was steady, and for the first time in days, she seemed at peace. Dr. Arif stayed by her side, checking her wounds and ensuring she was comfortable. "It will take some time, but with patience and care you'll be strong again," he said, offering Gauri a gentle pat on her head. Over the next few days, Gauri began to show signs of recovery. Her fur slowly grew back, and the redness from the wounds began to fade. The rescue team visited daily, checking on her progress and continuing to treat her with tender care. Each time they returned, they were greeted by Gauri's quiet, grateful gaze, a silent thank you for their compassion. As the weeks passed, Gauri's transformation was nothing short of miraculous. Her energy returned, and the once tired goat now stood tall and proud, her body free from the painful barnacles. She began grazing in the fields again, her gentle steps no longer hindered by the weight of her past suffering. The villagers, who had been watching Gauri's recovery from a distance, marveled at the change. They were deeply moved by the effort and love that had gone into saving her life. They too learned a valuable lesson from Gauri's story, how compassion and care could make all the difference, even in the most difficult of circumstances. Gauri's story didn't end with her recovery. She became a symbol of hope for the village, a reminder of the power of kindness and the extraordinary transformations that can occur when we care for one another. Her bond with the rescue team grew strong, and she lived the rest of her days content and free from pain, forever grateful for the humans who had shown her the meaning of compassion. And so, the heartwarming सियास्तदान जवाब देता है, जब से मेरी बेटी ने आपका मेक अप कराया है, उसके चेहरे पर खारिश हो रही है। ये सब सुनकर सुधा बहुत मायूस हो जाती है और सियास्तदान का पार्लर बंद कर दिया जाता है।